Right, welcome to topic 2, equations and inequalities. In this first lesson, we will be solving equations by means of factorization, which is the revision of grade 10 work. Right, work we must know. So we're going to do basic factorization. Then we're going to learn how to use a quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations, to solve fractions. Then we're going to solve by finding square roots. Learn substitution or K method, and solve equations by means of squaring or surds. Have to learn how to solve inequalities, completing the square, which is a very important topic for this year, simultaneous equations, which always will be asked, nature of roots, which is very important. Every other occasion, although word problems is part of it, a lot of the times they don't test it in exam. Very poorly taught, but I'll do some word problems in any case. Right, so we have first problem, solve for x. You can see there everything is already factorized for you and it's equal to 0. Now we're going to apply the zero factor law, which states that I'm going to make each bracket there equal to 0, because 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times anything else stays 0. So x plus 4 equals 0, or 2x minus 5 equals 0, or 3x plus 4 equals 0. Now grade 10 you had to show that step. For grade 11 you can come straight here. So if I take plus 4 over, it becomes negative 4, x equal negative 4. There if I take negative 5 over, it becomes positive 5. You always divide by the coefficient of x, so that simply becomes 5 over 2. There if I take plus 4 over, it becomes negative 4. So x simply equal negative 4 divided by 3. Right, so hope you follow. It's basic solving for x or equations. Next problem. Right, so we're in problem 2. Now we're looking at difference of two squares. Assume you can see x4 is the same as x squared times x squared, and 16 is 4 times 4. It's separated by a minus sign. That's why we say difference of two squares. So x4 simply becomes x squared times x squared. Negative 16 simply becomes positive 4 times negative 4. X squared plus 4, I can't simplify further, because if I try, I'm going to find square root of a negative value, and we don't do imaginary or complex numbers in school level. X squared minus 4, however, I can solve, because x squared is a perfect square and 4 is a perfect square, separated by a minus sign. So x squared is x times x, and 4 is 2 times 2, or negative 2 times 2. So my answer, x equal 2 or x equal negative 2. Right, problem number 3. So if you're enjoying your lesson so far, please like, share and subscribe. Right, factorize. Now problem number 3, we've given you a trinomial or quadratic equation. I have x squared minus 9x minus 36. We assume you know by now x squared is simply x times x, right? But we must be able to use the factors of 36 to get to negative 9. So I take factors of 36. If I say minus 36 times positive 1 gives me negative 36, and negative 36 plus 1 equal negative 35. So that's not the middle term. If I say minus 12 times 3 gives me negative 36, and at the same time minus 12 plus 3 gives me negative 9. So that second one gives me the middle term. If you look at the third one here, minus 6 times 6 would give me minus 36, but minus 6 plus the 6 would give me 0. So the only factors I can use is the one here in the second row. So factorize x squared minus 9x minus 36. X squared is x times x. There, as you can see, I have minus 12 plus 3, because minus 12x plus 3x would give me minus 9x. Therefore x equal 12 or x equal minus 3. That's revision from what you've done in grade 10. Right, next problem. Right, so now we're factorizing, where we have a coefficient. Generally in exam problems, this coefficient is a prime number, but lately we have some people that decide not to make it a prime number. But here, this one with a prime number, 5x squared minus 16x plus 12 equals 0. So I must be able to use 5 and 12 to get to 16. So in short, I'm just going to say 5 times 12 gives me 60. And then x squared is x times x, which gives me x squared. If we take the factors of 60, minus 60 times minus 1, and take note I'm using negative, because the last term is positive and the middle is negative. So my signs can only read negative, negative. So minus 60 times negative 1 gives me the positive 60, but minus 60 minus 1 gives me minus 61, which is not my middle term. Negative 12 times negative 5 will also give me positive 60, but minus 12 minus 5 would give me negative 70. If I say minus 6 times negative 10 gives me 60, but minus 6 minus 10 gives me the negative 16 I'm looking for. So I'm going to have factors that contain minus 6 and minus 10. I have to break up, as you can see there. I have a 5, so 5 can divide in 10. So 5, because it's a prime number, can only be 5 and 1. Minus 6, place in the bracket, minus 6 times what would give me positive 12, minus 6 plus 2. So if you see there, I have 5 times negative 2, which gives me the negative 10, minus the 6, which gives me the minus 16x. So if I simplify, negative 6 goes over, become positive 6 divided by 5, gives me 6 over 5. Negative 2 goes over, become positive 2. Right, there's also a second method shown to me by one of my good Australian friends. 5x squared minus 16x plus 12. Right, so I can break this up, the middle term, in such a way that I create a common factor for the first term and a common factor for the last term. So we look, 5 divides into 10. So you see there, 1 minus 10 and minus 6x plus 12. So for 5x and 10x, if I take common factor there, would be 5x. 5x squared divided by 5x gives me x. Negative 10x divided by 5x would give me negative 2. For these two, if I take out negative 6 as a common factor, negative 6 divided by negative 6 gives me x. 12 divided by negative 6 would give me negative 2. Now x minus 2 and x minus 2 is a common factor, so I take that out, and I'm left with 5x minus 6. So you see there, that and that is the same, so my answer would then be the same. So hope you follow, you understand. If you want me to do more problems on this specific thing or anything in here, please feel free to leave a question in the comments, and I will do it for you gladly. Right. We also have the problems, very common in grade 12, but also asked in grade 11, where we factorize, but it's not equal to 0. Because it's not equal to 0, we have to multiply out and then refactorize. So there, x times x would give me x squared, minus 3x, the two closest, minus 2x would give me minus 5x, negative 3 times negative 2 would give me positive 6 equal to 12. Bring 12 over, becomes positive, becomes negative 12. So x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. So generally you'd get 1 mark for writing in standard form. Now I refactorize. X squared is simply x times x. Factors of negative 6 that give me 5 would be negative 6 plus 1 would give me negative 5, but negative 6 times plus 1 gives me negative 6. So x equals 6 or x equal negative 1. Alright, so hope you follow. Right, next problem.